All right. So I'm about to bring these guys in. So I think it's been a little bit now, maybe like a month, not too long, month and a half maybe. But so three other guys that I know. I'll introduce them as I bring them in. What's up, Morgan? And so we started a little group called Four Takes. We have a YouTube channel for it. I have to get the link. I meant to put the link for it in chat. I'll get the link for it. But yeah, I mean, these three guys are all film lovers like myself. Um, and we call the four takes because we all usually have four different like viewpoints or opinions on a movie, and we're gonna start trying to do this every other week where we just you know kind of turn this into a podcast where we just have some drinks, just chill, talk about movies. This week we're going to talk about Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So we're going to talk about is one of the guys in here named Jared. He picked it out, so we'll bring him on, see what he wants to talk about it, and discuss it. And if you guys got any questions, just shoot them out in the middle of the chat. I'll put it up so they can see it. If you got any questions, so is that the link for it, Jason? No way, you found that link. Oh wow, you did. You're a beast. Thank you, Jason. All right, so let me bring these guys in. First, we have Izzy, my boy Izzy, big film guy. He's like the technician guy of our stream. There's Izzy. Welcome, Izzy.
Hey, what up, guys?
What's up? And then next, my boy Jared. He's the one who picked the movie for this week. Say what's up, Jared.
How's it going?
And then last, my boy Raheem. He's the sometimes Snyder DC hater. He's probably gonna get our chat spam with a bunch of Marvel trolls or something. Say what's up, Raheem. I'm joking. He's not a Snyder hater.
You gotta get me started early.
I'm joking. He's not a Snyder hater. He's not a Snyder hater.
I just
probably.
I hated one movie. Okay, one movie.
You were prepared to hate another one too, but you didn't.
Right.
Probably.
I did hate the other one until it was redone.
Yeah.
We probably should do that. Post these on YouTube. Like edit them maybe.
I think that's the plan, yeah.
Yeah.
Jason.
Hey everybody.
Jason? What's up, Booyah?
Hey, Booyah.
All right. So what we decided to do is, like I was saying, every other week, one of us is going to take turns picking a movie, and then we'll like discuss that movie, break it down, just talk about it. We either liked about it, disliked about it, things some of us may have saw in it that other people didn't see, something like that. So, like I said, this week is Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which is the first one, right? That's the one with James Franco. Yeah. So, Jarrett, I will let you kick it off, and whatever you want to talk about first.
Yeah, I picked this because this is actually probably my favorite trilogy since Lord of the Rings, and that includes the Nolan trilogy. That's the Dark Knight trilogy, believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'm a huge Batman fan, and I love those movies, but I don't feel like they're great Batman movies. They're great movies, but anyway, that's a whole other topic. But, I've been hot take already.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
I've been trying to get Izzy to watch these too because we.
This is your way to force it.
Exactly. Yep.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry about this. I'll be right back.
No problem. But yeah, I also feel like these movies don't get like the respect and love that they should really, and I think it's probably because they're not really streaming anywhere, and that's kind of it's like how people take in their stuff now, and it doesn't seem like there's been a ton of like promotional material for it. Like you don't see like the 3-pack special edition of the Apes, But yeah, it's I don't know. I want to raise awareness. I know that Disney recently bought Fox, so maybe they'll be on Disney Plus soon, and maybe sooner or later they'll get.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Who bought Fox? Did you say who?
On, Disney Plus.
Who bought Fox?
Disney, right?
Disney did.
Yeah.
Disney
yeah.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. 20 is this 20th Century Fox the same as Fox? I mean, I guess it would be, right? I don't know the difference between Fox and 20th Century Fox, but hoping they'll be up there. Anyway,
20 centuries.
Yeah, this movie, I feel like everybody went and saw it in the summertime and they loved it and thought it was a good movie, but they didn't really follow up, and except for the big fans of. And I don't know. The second two are the great ones to me, but you got to start somewhere, right? So
That's true.
Yeah, I actually I didn't watch the whole trilogy.
Oh, we're in for a treat.
You haven't seen the other two?
I didn't. I watched half of the two. I was distracted about. For some reason, I didn't finish. I can't remember why I didn't finish it, but I never watched the third installment. So I only got to see the full one, and then when I rewatched it again today, I mean, I was blown away. I said, "Crap, this was phenomenal." I was blown away.
How have you not? Bro, I would agree with you that it's a better trilogy than the Dark Knight trilogy. I agree with that because I think these three movies. I do. I think these three movies are like more consistently better than for me. I think they're more consistently better than the other one. Like I think the third one really is like of the Dark Knight Rises. I think has a lot of flaws, and I don't think any of these three movies really have flaws like that.
Is this the first time we're going to disagree, Dave?
Yeah, we're definitely going to agree.
Usually, me and Izzy are on the same page.
Once I watch the other two, I'm going to have more of an input on that, the other two installments. But come on, the Dark Knight trilogy is freaking raw. I don't see how that can be.
I'm going to have to assume that the second and third Apes film are so good, like somehow.
To me, it's a huge jump. Each movie gets like
that's a good question.
Better in this series, and then the next one's got your boy. The next one's got your boy, is he?
Yeah.
Who?
Mank. Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. Yeah. Okay, that might carry me through for sure. But I'm just trying to imagine a world where I'm just saying the other two movies must be so good because nothing about this movie, this first one, when I watched it, struck me as better than anything in any of the Nolan films.
Well, have you seen the other two Apes movies?
I haven't seen them yet. So I feel like you guys are letting those two movies carry this trilogy.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. Okay, wait till you see them. We'll wait till you see them.
Well, they were both taken over for director. 2 and 3 were taken over by Matt Reeves, the guy who's doing the Batman. And he actually has, because I've been watching the commentaries and stuff, and he's actually got a love for the old Planet of the Apes movies. So I think that.
Well, then let's do it this way. Let's go tick for tack, right? So how do you compare the beginning of the Planet of the Apes, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, to Batman Begins?
Batman Begins is a way better movie than this movie.
I agree.
You think so?
I go with you.
Yeah, I know so.
I'll see you. Appreciate it, man.
Okay, so why is it a good movie?
Batman Begins? Why is it a better movie than this movie?
Well, yeah, exactly.
The director, for one.
Okay.
I think the pacing is much, much better in Batman Begins. I think the pacing is probably the biggest strength of that film, actually. And the fact that Gotham looks like Gotham and not Chicago is pretty important. We're not talking about that movie, but I just nothing about Rise of the Planet of the Apes is as striking to me as any single scene in Batman Begins. Even when they're dumping the stuff in the water supply, the way that's shot is insane compared to when the apes are running across the bridge. That's still a better scene. I think Nolan shot that better. So, but again, I'm the professor, right? I'm going to care about the acrobatics behind the camera sometimes a little bit more, especially when there's no acting going on. When apes are rampaging across a bridge, I don't really have much to devour other than the camera work. And if it's bad, it's not a good scene. So
what's up, Ash?
Well, do you think because it's a completely different genre of a movie that has a you're more catered towards comic book movies rather than something that's potentially more realistic that can possibly happen?
No. I mean, I still feel like Apes is larger than life in the same way a superhero movie is, though.
Got you.
I still think it is.
I agree with that. I if you're comparing the movies, like if you're matching them up as a trilogy, I definitely think Batman Begins is better than Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I would agree with that for sure.
Well, you know what? That's gonna have to be something that's on our list to go through, because it's been a while since I've seen the trilogy.
You haven't seen the other two either, Raheem, right?
Yeah. I haven't seen. I've seen half of the second one, but it's like it's foggy. I can't really remember it.
I might pick the second one as well. Who's up next? Raheem? Raheem picks next?
It'll be Raheem
Oh,
next.
it's my turn?
Okay.
If we do it in the same order
that's
that we did.
the most blackest movie known to man. I'm gonna choose Meteor Man to watch. I'm just playing.
12 Years a Slave, is that what you just said?
He's gonna pick Glory.
So I'm sitting here trying to look up the name of the director for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I can't remember it. And I know that he hasn't done anything. I think that he was just a hired director. So I mean, when you're comparing Christopher Nolan with this guy who did a good job, it was a good movie, but it wasn't like masterpiece quality, like 9 out of 10 Nolan movies are really.
What's up, Janet? She's one of my mods, by the way.
Oh, nice. Hey.
All right. Well, then let's talk about
Gal Gadot's here.
Really?
Yeah.
What's up, Gal?
I gotta go change into something nicer.
Let's talk about, okay, so what stood out to everyone about this first installment of the Planet of the Apes?
In a good way?
In a good way. Let's talk about the
positive. We'll start with it in a good way. We'll start with it in a good way.
Stuff is.
Yeah, so go ahead, Izzy. We'll start with you.
All right. Yeah. I'll wait.
Actually, it's your thing, Jared. You go ahead. You started out.
Yeah, Jared, start off. Like, tell us what you like about this one.
So we'll start out. What did you like about it?
CGI.
What did you like about it in a good way? We'll start with that.
It's really funny because this is like I don't have a ton. Like I watched all the audio commentaries and stuff to get something to talk about on this one because I feel like it was a good movie, but there's not a lot of massive depth to it to really go into it. So like all my stuff that I found was like this, like, so the producer and writer are a husband-wife team, and the way they came up with this idea was pretty organic. It wasn't like the studio said we need to jump on this property because we haven't done a Planet of the Apes movie since Tim Burton's and we want to make a trilogy. They were doing research on people who had chimps as pets and how it always end up going bad. It was like this story that started off so perfect and wonderful with their own little kid, and then they'd hit adolescence and something would switch in their brain. And
yeah, it's called not being a domesticated animal.
Right. And as they were doing this research, they came across this idea and they went to pitch it, and they thought, I'm sure Fox has something that they're already doing with Planet of the Apes. It's a pretty huge property. So they were like not really expecting a lot, but they said, we think we have a way to like work into Planet of the Apes. And so I think it was kind of cool how it was done organically like that. And it made sense. And then they, threw in obviously the idea where the same serum that gave them the intelligence, it was hurting the human race. So it kind of like everything happened at once. So that I like the way that the story evolved that way.
Okay. Raheem.
So go ahead, Raheem.
Oh, go ahead. Right.
Well, if you have a question for Jared, go ahead.
I do want to ask Jared something. So you actually like the fact that the Planet of the Apes begins with a serum that backfires?
It's not what I was expecting or wanting to happen, but I went with it. You know what I mean? It's not perfect, but I went with it.
Okay.
And it actually leads into the sequels better too, I think.
Okay.
Okay, Raheem.
Me, man, I actually got a lot out of it.
Well, just like what did you like about it? I guess the most.
So I like stories. Okay, when it comes to a movie, I want to feel attached to either the person or whatever the story is about. Like I need to find some attachment, right? And my biggest thing that I like is where they made it believable that this could possibly happen. Like, if we get so far ahead in advance in science, in biology and stuff like that, mixing things, a possibility of what could happen. I'm not talking about to the degree to where the monkeys took it or the apes and chimps took it, whatever, but in a sense to where you can create a serum, right? Looking for a cure or something to help Alzheimer's, So that's already been doing research. People already been doing research on something like that, right? So of course you test it on non-humans. And what is what could be the possibility that this happens? So what made me attached to Caesar was his origin. And his origin was he was born with it already embedded into his DNA. That's the part that I like the most, that they made him special. And then they humanized him because he was raised by a human since birth. And his intelligence basically far surpassed the doctor or his stepdad, or we not a stepdad. What do you call that?
Where's dad?
Yeah. What was his name?
You talking about John Lithgow?
You're talking about Franco?
Franco.
Yeah. The actual doctor.
Right.
The owner?
Giving him, the owner, whatever. But I kind of want to. They kind of made it as if he was a foster child who was being raised by a loving person, basically.
Sure.
But just that attachment made him human to me, and so now you're seeing him grow up. You're seeing him in this environment to where he outgrew being a pet. You know what I mean? He outgrew.
He asks what he is when he has that. When he sees the dog on the leash.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So he outgrew that.
What am I?
And he's smart, so he's putting two together, and he's too smart for that. So it kind of showed his growth. It showed everything he was going through, being contained, being treated like an animal, and he finally broke. It finally broke him, the fact that he realized what he really is an animal to the human race. So I mean, for me, there was a lot of great points. I don't want to take up too much time, but there was a lot of great points to me in this. And I thought it was great. I mean, for its movie, but I kind of separate this type of movie compared to superhero movies. I kind of separate those two as far as movie wise.
This does feel like more of a morality play than a superhero film.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Me? You want me to go for it?
Yeah.
The stuff that stood out to me about this film was probably, there's like a couple of parts that really stood out to me in like a good way. One was the scene where Buck enables Caesar's rise to being the alpha. You guys remember that scene where he's in the chimp cage and figures out how to get out, and then he lets Buck out, and then he goads the other one that beat him up earlier, and then they get out there, and then Buck makes him basically do the servile act to him, perform a servile act, so that he acknowledges Caesar as now the new leader.
Right.
And the reason I like that isn't because I thought Buck was doing him a solid. It's that Caesar was cunning and kind of duplicitous enough to use Buck for that.
Yep.
That's gross. And what that does is because that's actually not good. That's a trait a villain would have, actually. That kind of usury and manipulation, but he was smart enough to do it, right? He didn't do it. The idea is that he did it through cunning and not strength. He used someone else's strength through his cunning to force the issue, and it worked. And so that stood out to me as writing wise. I thought that was the first time they actually displayed the intelligence that they were trying to display to you through the whole movie. So that was one. And then,
before you go on, who does that remind you of comic book wise?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Caesar? You talking about?
DC, yeah, Caesar.
In that moment,
who does Caesar remind you of a villain in DC?
Lex?
Maybe Lex.
Yep. Lex Luthor was my first thought. I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it sets him up. Well, that act does more than just show you that he's smart. It sets him up to be an adversary.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really paying attention, you stop seeing him as a hero right then.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. He's using dumb apes to further his agenda. Like, it's not cool. Like, it's not noble. Like, you know what I mean? And he does it pretty well. Like, so that was like an interesting thing to me, writing wise. I thought that was really odd.
He doesn't
But-
really give Rocket a choice but to submit.
No,
Like Rocket only submits because he's got no other way.
because he's being threatened by Buck,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that was weird. The other thing I really liked about this movie that stood out to me is how fast they spread once they all had the virus. The pacing of the film there was done really well. As far as like once they escaped after he killed the guy that held him there, the dude's son, Brian Cox's son, after they like electrocuted that guy with the hose or whatever, then they're like, bam. And I thought that was a nice metaphor for the fact that they were infected. They spread through the city like a virus. The way they did it seemed very viral. And that was a nice visual touch. And the pacing was really, it sped up. Like the third act freaked out. The third act was like rolling a rock up a hill and then like that's kind of how it felt. So, and honestly, I felt the movie was really slow. Like, so that was nice to me. That was a part that I was like, oh, here we go. The movie's going, like, you know what I mean? But it was like almost near the end, but I did like that. I liked their entire spread through everything. So those are the two big ones that really stuck out to me as like pretty cool.
That's what's up.
For likes, I'll say like right off the bat, I guess the first thing for me is like I love the visuals of it, and like I like how realistic the apes looked. Was for me like it didn't feel cheesy or like cartoony, which is one thing I was worried about. I remember when I first heard about that movie getting made, was like the apes looking kind of ridiculous, because like I felt like that would take me out of it, and because they seem so lifelike, like it kind of drew me in more to the movie. And also I really like, you don't see a ton of it in this one. You see it more in the other two, but I love the relationship between Caesar and what's the other ape that goes evil? Koba? Is it Koba?
Koba, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love their relationship. That's like one of the things I love, especially in the second one. It's really good. So the relationship gets so. I can't wait for you guys to see the second one. Man, I just like I know you were gonna love the second one. I know you are.
I'm probably gonna watch it tonight, to be honest, because I was so impressed with this first one. Just a reminder of what it was. I was like, oh crap, this was, to me, I thought it was like one of those flawless movies. That's a rarity nowadays. And also what caught my eye was how far we've came when it comes to CGI, because the CGI, I was like, dang, this CGI.
I was like, it was insane. Like, I cannot wait for you to see, especially the third one. The third one is like, the detail on those apes is like amazing. Like, there's some real like close-up shots.
Yeah.
Like,
I have to binge tonight, man. I have to binge.
It is.
Well, it looks like a better director too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just off the top, watching the previews, like.
Yeah, that's a big topic that they do in the audio commentaries, is like the leaps and bounds that technology took just between
the
first one and the second one.
Right.
They completely rewrote their entire whatever they were doing on the like their process started from scratch pretty much.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it is I mean, every one of those, and I saw in the making of, every one of those apes is an actual actor. And they taught them, like, they're running around with like these extensions on their arms so they can run like an ape, like with long arms and everything.
Even the kids, they have like kids actors, like kids in like, you know, the gray pajamas with the CGI like dots on them and stuff. It's pretty tight.
They use their voice.
That'll be nice to get that type of job.
Right.
For real.
You can act like an idiot on front of a camera. I'll do that.
Right.
Oh man, that's fun.
Stupid suit.
It's fun. It's fun to act silly.
We act like it's easy. I mean, those guys. I mean, even when they show them in the making of, they look like monkeys running around. It's like crazy. It's
right.
Like, wow, they really didn't have to use too much imagination in the effects department, because these actors just went
for it. Yeah, just totally leaned into it.
Yeah.
So did anything in this movie get you guys like emotional? Was there any like emotional attachment in this movie?
I'll tell you one moment that, since we did likes, I'll do one that is a hate immediately followed by love, and I hate how close they are together. This was the moment where Caesar spoke, because it gives you chills. And I found out that like they went back and looked at the old Planet of the Apes movies and miniseries, and there was a reference to the very first ape that ever talked. The thing he said was no, and he was the one that led the rebellion. Didn't say his name.
That's
But they
tight.
went back and they found that.
That's tight.
But I hate the stupid Easter egg that they pull right before that, where he
Yeah,
said,
me too.
"Pause off."
It's corny.
38.
It sucks.
What? Which one? What Easter egg?
Malfoy or whatever his name is from Harry Potter.
Right.
When Caesar, right before Caesar yells no at him,
Mm-hmm.
Caesar grabs him. He says, "Get your paws off me, you damn dirty ape," which is a reference to the
got you.
thing.
Right.
It was stupid.
Right.
Dumb reference,
hated it.
followed by the best moment of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So people are like still thinking, "Oh, that's like what Charlton Heston said," and they miss the no.
Right.
So
Yeah, that didn't need to be there.
Right.
Best moment within 5 seconds of each other.
Yeah.
That's
That
also a
was-
weird thing to say no to. Like that's what I thought was like they really tried to force that line in there so hard. That's a weird thing to say no to. Let go of me right in that moment, because he would let go of him eventually. Why is he keeping hold of him? Like there was it served no purpose for him to continue to hold a grip on him right then. That was one thing I noticed that I didn't like also about that scene. And I was like, man, they could have made him utter words in a better way than that if they had just divorced themselves from the need for the Easter egg.
Right.
Could have just opened it up.
I disagree with that.
All right.
I'm gonna say, okay, well, I disagree with that because to me it showed dominance. It showed that if he really wanted to, he can hurt him. He
already showed that by leading him in there, though. I thought that was self-evident.
The intelligence part, but also the physical part from an ape to a human.
Right.
The strength wise is ridiculous, and I think just him holding him there for that duration, showing how weak he really is. I thought that was just a statement, like a power statement. Like I can hurt you if I want to.
Yep. Well, that brings me back to one part I really did like about the movie that I forgot about, and it's the one line that girl says when he meets her, where she says, "I love chimpanzees, but I also fear them. It's good to fear them."
Yeah. Right.
That's good writing.
Yeah.
That was really good. That was almost the best line in the film. Like, because it's like, I kept thinking that leading up to that point, I was like, they're not pets. You ever seen videos of people that keep like coyotes as like cubs?
Oh yeah.
And then they hit adolescence, and then they just freak. They're all over the furniture. They don't do anything. Like unless you get one very specific one in the litter that's very subservient. Right. But again, it's not domesticated. It's fearful. Right. So like I thought that was kind of poorly done in this movie, actually, weirdly. Like I was like, oh man, Caesar is the smartest chimp ever, and he hasn't escaped once. I couldn't buy that. Like, for some reason that was tough to buy, but they're not domesticated. They are not. Right. There's nothing about them being in that lab that domesticated Caesar. Nothing. All it did was make him smarter. He's still wild. Right. So like that was a really tough leap for me. They would still have such a strong instinct genetically to be a chimpanzee, whether or not a person owns them. The ones that you see they're domesticated and kept as pets were like raised through that genetic line. They were like circus performers. They were like, they've been pets their whole lives. You didn't go get one from the wild like those dudes did in the opening scene and then bring it home without a mom and have it act like a kid. Just because it's smart. That's not real. Like that was the hardest leap for me to make in this movie.
The only thing I'm going to say, I'm not trying to say I disagree.
No, it's fine. Just do it.
Well, because Caesar was a baby when he came to human contact, right? Like he didn't experience the being behind that environment that his mom was in, really. He was an infant. He was a baby. Matter of fact, I think they said he's only like a couple days old when his dad was I guess fed him or somebody gave him a bottle and he took the bottle and started drinking it. It's like only 2 days old. So I think like what they tried to do was try to say that he stood out different because of he was raised by humans. So the only thing he's known was humans. So
there's still instinct.
I know. I know. I mean, I can't fully disagree with you.
The serum that was in him, though, I mean, automatically made him more like sophisticated and human.
That doesn't mean he's not wild. Nothing about sophistication or intelligence reduces instinct. Nothing about it. Like,
you don't think he felt that connection to his dad? And he had no reason.
Not genetically. No.
He had no reason to escape.
No, I think he's still a chimp. He's just a smart chimp. That doesn't make him less instinctual or less wild. He's not a domesticated chimp just because he got smart.
Yeah,
that was the hardest leap for me to make in this film. That was the thing that kept me at arm's length from this film, is that truth. You can and it's funny because this dude's right. Earth has a good point. Yes. There's too much risk. They validate the point I'm making with that girl's line, which contradicts the thrust of the entire first act of the film. That was my biggest problem with this movie. You're acknowledging that you're wrong. Like, I don't know. I didn't hate it, but I'm just saying that was a major plot problem for me. And it was tough to get past. Now, once he got into the pen and stuff, I was like kind of there for it. The suspense was there about how he's going to get out. But also, it wasn't much suspense because he's smart. That's the part you don't doubt.
Right.
You already know that. He's smart enough to get out. He'll figure it out, right? And that was cool to watch, though. That was neat to watch the fact that he brought the gas. He broke out to just break back in.
Yeah.
That's
pretty wild. That's how smart he is. Yeah. He's like, oh, I need soldiers, right? Like, I don't know, but man, I feel like he's still a wild animal. Like, I feel like they humanized him a little too much just because he was smart. When he has no genetic history of being humanized, zero. Yeah. That was a big leap for me, but I don't know.
I hear you on that. I like that's why I said I don't 100% disagree. So I do understand that as far as
you were there for it, right? You liked it.
I loved it all the way through. I have nothing negative to say about this movie. I loved it all the way through. I mean, for what it was, especially at the time too. They humanized him enough for me to be like, I can see that happening, or I can see that happening. I do agree with you because my first thought was he hasn't been outside this whole time. He's been in the house for like what? Up until I think it was up until the girlfriend came to the picture.
Smartest chimp born in captivity ever has never escaped.
Yeah, that was kind of far fetched, but
never. He didn't bolt out of the baby carriage at the zoo. Yeah. Like what? Like there was a few parts like that where I'm like, he's gone and you never see him again because he's smarter than you. He doesn't need you. He doesn't. That's the only thing that domesticates a creature is the need for an owner. The minute he understands he's not a pet, he's gone.
But that's the humanized part about it. I guess he didn't understand that he was considered a pet until that dog instance. When that dog was coming at him and Caesar.
Yeah, I thought we were just hanging out. What is this? Yeah, that was a cool scene.
Like, hold on, dude. Like, hold on, man. What's really going on? I know I'm a pet. You tell me that, but yet
he decides to get in the front seat. The second I missed that the first time I watched it. The second time I watched it, the movie shows you that he's normally Franco loads him into the back of the car and he just looks at him like, no, I'm getting in the back seat, dude.
That was an ad lib by Andy Serkis on the shot.
What?
Yeah, he was supposed to just climb right back in the back, but he and they're like, keep him rolling.
Really? I know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. See, that's tight. See, that adds to it. That adds to the movie. When you get actors like that, that's freaking dope, man.
Why would he leave?
Oh man, James Franco is unlovable in that movie. Tony, I'm sorry.
He was also living with John Lithgow, and John Lithgow is unlovable, right? I mean,
yes, John Lithgow is a treasure. Yes, by contrast, yes, John Lithgow is a treasure, and his relationship with Caesar, I loved. I loved every interaction that he had. I love the fact that the first time you see Caesar get pissed and actually start to fight somebody is when Lithgow's getting bullied outside because he crashed that dude's Mustang.
Right.
That was neat.
I love the bullying of the bully. Did you love that?
I didn't like the the neighbor because he felt like a cartoon character. I felt like I was watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or something every time they went over there. Like I hated it, but like I did love that. Like Caesar was like, I'm actually
Yeah, I liked it when he got pissed at the dude. I like
a non-human primate that will
Yeah.
mess you up.
Right.
Yeah, because that's the thing though. Like he was like a bully who was getting bullied the whole time. And
That's
then
true. That was his character. Actually. Yeah, that's a good point. That's all his role is.
He was just looking out for his kids, man.
Right.
I mean, like Izzy said, these guys are animals, and there's a wild animal in your back.
I would definitely be scared of a chimp in my backyard.
I'd get a
100%.
bat. I'd get a bat. I'm sorry. I chased him off with a
Full
bat.
stop.
Hit him.
Listen. Look, you want to know how black people strive to stay alive when it comes to animals? We don't go near them. If there's a live
That's true.
chimpanzee, gorilla, you name it, we're not going back out there. I don't care if I have a gun, a bat, whatever. I'm calling somebody.
You want to go camping, Raheem? You don't want to go camping later?
Man, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm staying safe.
Oh, there was somebody that I heard about that story.
What?
I heard about that story. I didn't know it was the people.
Oh, see, look at that.
What kind? Just chimps? Are we talking like marmots? Or like, is it actually like chimps?
They're apes, dude.
I looked this up.
I'm kidding.
I looked this up. Apes are a subset of monkey. They are still a monkey. I hated that line after I looked it up. It's an ape. And I was like, no, I think it's still a monkey. I'm pretty sure I know this. And I looked it up, and sure enough, apes are a subset of monkey that are still considered a monkey. So that dude was right. When he called it a monkey. Totally meaningless. But I remember being like,
monkeys had tails, apes don't. That's what I always thought.
Correct, but they're still they are considered to be evolutionarily a monkey that lost its tail and therefore become part of the ape family.
Oh wow!
But they display all the same stuff. So I did that.
Are we getting into dislikes now? Are we getting into dislikes now?
We don't have to. I know that you can't bottle me.
Okay.
Hey, let's go. Dislikes.
All right, let's do it.
I already told you the big one. They humanized him in a way that was completely unbelievable because he's a wild animal, whether or not he was born in captivity. And I'll talk about the two big ones. The two big ones for me, the two big dislikes are actually just weird little directing and like plot decisions. They're not really that big thing. I don't want to beat that to death. But first, they didn't get the tranquilizer gun ready until after they failed to noose Caesar's mother. Yeah. That's not true. They would have had the tranq gun ready to go if she was displaying any kind of aggression. Yep. That would have been ready to go. And the second that noose slipped, pop, done. That wouldn't have been a thing. Okay. Yep. This is still part of one. I know this is going to sound like two. There's no way they wouldn't have noticed that she had a baby hidden because they have access to the cages. They clean them, all that stuff. They would have seen that baby. Can Caesar with prep time beat Kong? Yes, he's smarter.
and
easy answer. Easy answer. It would be like a Batman style thing.
What's up, Joe?
It would be like a Batman style thing where he plans all these tricky things to trap Kong. It wouldn't be a muscular thing.
Right.
Two, the other thing I didn't like is when Bright Eyes gets out and rampages through the facility while they're giving the presentation, she busts into the boardroom, which is cool. But then those guards open fire at the boardroom. They're still standing there in that scene. I watched it both times. They are standing right there, and they lay shells at that ape while those other board members are standing there. Would never happen. Never happen. Security guards that are trained to use guns would clear the room. They would never open fire at board members. Like, and it totally. I watched it. I was like, did I see that right? And man, that's that. Those are the two big ones that I was like, no.
You sound like me when it comes to BVS.
Yes. I thought about that. Raheem. I did. I was like, oh, I'm Raheeming this one.
Oh,
I'm totally
man.
getting weird and nitpicky about tiny decisions. I love that you said that. I totally
Imagine if we were talking about BVS right now.
Yeah, it's the spear scene.
All right,
but that's it.
Are you sure, Izzy? You don't have any more? You have anything else?
I do. I have one more, and it's that Buck could jump from the bridge to the helicopter. Would never happen. A gorilla couldn't jump that far. A chimp could.
Was that a far jump? Sure? I have to remember.
Watch it again.
They never really showed how far the copter was from the actual bridge, though.
It was far enough. Watch it again. Don't. It's not a good movie. You guys like it, but this is where we're getting. This is a bad movie. It's not a good movie. It feels like it's shot like through a 90s lens, but not in a cool Die Hard way. Like the camera works boring. Like it's just everything's. The apes feel like people. They never once did the apes feel like wild animals to me. I
love
want
the
them
fact
to feel like
that
smart wild
so
animals.
logical. I love it.
I want them to feel. I want them to.
What's up, Naveen?
Hey, Naveen. I want them to feel like smart wild animals, and a smart wild animal to me would have fought way sooner, way harder. There would have been a lot more collateral damage instantly. Like I feel like there would have been so scary.
Hour and a half.
But one thing I really liked though, before I don't want to tear the movie apart, so I'm not going to do that. But too late. I know. One thing I really liked was what was it? There was this one scene. Oh, why can't I remember it now? I feel stupid. I'll come back to it. I don't want to take up the whole screen.
Rewatch it.
No. No. It's the camera work was uninspired. If you know what's crazy is like I have a feeling that like the next two are so I trust you guys. If you say it's better than the Batman trilogy,
Well,
it's because of the next two.
I for sure I don't think the second one is better than the Dark Knight, but I 100% think the third one is better than Dark Knight Rises. Like without a doubt.
The Dark Knight.
If you don't like how humanized the apes are, then I'm kind of worried about what you're going to think about the next one.
I think they should just act like.
I'm kind of worried what you're going to think now because
you should prepare yourself for that.
Because they're more humanized in the next two for sure.
Also, like, didn't this happen because we nuked ourselves and they just evolved? Isn't that supposedly the story of Planet of the Apes? So the whole
is it? I thought it was because of the serum or whatever.
Sick, even though he's old, thing was like so weird to me.
You're talking about?
Did he say they blew it all to hell? Isn't that what Charlton Heston says? Like we nuked ourselves off the planet, everything's in ruins, and then the apes rose. Right?
Oh, that's the old one.
But it's a better one. It's a better storyline. Like, don't you think? Like,
I like the serum thing, man. I like the fact that the serum like made them smart and stuff like that. I liked it.
I'll hear
because the reason why I love the serum thing is more of a takeover rather than okay, humans are dead, so now we have to make apes evolve into the species and repeat the cycle because they believe in the evolution of apes becoming humans. So I think it was like
you brought it up.
Yeah, because I don't remember how. Let me see.
Oh,
do you guys hear it?
No. There's no volume.
And you know what sucks? You know what sucks about this is this should have been a cool scene. I was pumped when it happened. The concept of this, of Buck sacrificing himself in the air at a copter to just take it down with sheer muscle. This is the first part of the movie where you see a wild animal.
Yeah,
that isn't human.
I've seen it coming too.
Like, but it's too far. It's too far.
I've seen it coming.
It's metal as hell. It's so potentially likable.
Did it freeze up or what?
No. I'm trying to figure out why you guys can't hear it.
But you know what? It doesn't have to have sound though.
Okay. Yeah. I can hear it. I don't know why you guys can't hear it, but I don't remember how far that jump was.
That's kind of a cool idea there. He's taking
how far they are, dude.
The chains that went down him.
That was sick. The chain was great.
He's using
so that part was he was swinging the chain. My mind went to he's gonna throw the chain's gonna get locked up in the propellers. And
that's what I would have done.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
So I love the fact that it did not happen. All right, that was it.
An ape weighs too much to do this. Just gonna say it.
Boy,
how far was it? It wasn't that far.
It did look kind of far.
Dude, even no
it
person.
Did look kind of far.
And then like pause it.
Apes are strong, but like I don't want to. I feel like stupid saying that their strength is in their upper body. I feel like that's so painfully obvious that their strength isn't in their lower body.
All right, that's kind of far for an ape to jump. All right, I will agree.
I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty far.
This is the Spears thing all over again. It was his last.
I'm totally Rahiming tonight.
Effort.
I'm sitting in.
All right, you were right. You were right, Izzy.
What?
You were right. That was far.
That's it.
That's
all I got. There was something else I really liked.
Did you guys
reverse
get
evolution
point
via
that,
virus?
Like,
oh yeah, you see that more in the other two. It is a kind of reverse evolution. I don't want to give it away, but you see that more.
Well, you see humanity just totally like take a regressive step as a response.
You see it, yeah.
Well, that's cool.
That's a good point.
I would like to see that.
That's a good point.
I wouldn't say that.
Especially in the third one. Remember how they act? Remember how people act in the third one?
They like it.
Hey, no spoilers. No,
I'm not gonna
spoilers.
spoil. I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it.
No spoilers.
But.
All right, Jared. Dislike.
My dislike is just mainly that it wasn't also directed by Matt Reeves, because I think it would have been better.
Yes.
I feel like it
100%. I agree with that.
This is just kind of like a step that you have to take to get to the other two. It's a good movie, but it's generic. It's a good popcorn, fun. Like if you come out of the theater and you don't feel like you wasted $10 or, to me, but it's not near the level
now,
in my opinion. And it'd be great if the whole trilogy was all one unified story, by one director. That's only making me
May right spit his drink out.
Sorry, Jared. Somebody said something really funny.
There's nothing in particular that I didn't like, other than just the fact that it just wasn't awesome.
I'm alone. Yeah. I'm gonna die on this hill by myself, aren't I?
I would agree with that.
Agreeing with you, right?
It needed a better director. I'll agree with that. Like the other two are so much better than this one. It's like it's kind of crazy. These are all like after rewatching it, it's kind of crazy. Like this one leads to the next one because the next one is so much better. It's not.
This is like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. That's what this is.
Yeah, you could say that.
A New Hope was rad too, though. So
yeah, I feel like
it's not. It has one good scene when Luke's looking at the suns. If we really, really, really divorce ourselves of nostalgia and emotion, there's one good scene in that film. Like that is a popcorn movie that you don't regret. Really,
blasphemous.
That scene is the score.
I feel like the chat's gonna light me on fire now, but like I do think A New Hope is vapid.
So blasphemous. I'm not even gonna speak to you right now.
It's a shooter.
Dislike. I did love the movie through and through, but it was one part that I disliked. I'm gonna say it.
Here we go.
It's kind of on the same line as was what Izzy was saying about the ape jumping, but the black man had to die. Why? He was a successful. What do you call that? 500 whatever club people, businessmen. He was successful.
Fortune 500. You're talking about?
Thank you. Fortune 500 successful business.
He's
black
the
man,
bad guy.
and he dies. He
was technically the bad guy.
Right?
He was a bad guy, but
he got too involved. Okay, he got too involved. He said, "You know what? Monkeys is breaking out. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna let y'all take care of it." That's what he should have did.
I love that actor. I loved him in Jack Reacher.
I love him too. Like he's really good. He's a really good actor.
Good. He has a good presence. Star Wars for the Planet of the Apes. See? Vindicated.
Joe's like the pun master. He makes
Really?
fun out of everything.
An amalgam of the names there, or an amalgam of the names, because the next movie is called War of the Planet of the Apes. War for the Planet of the Apes. Star Wars.
That's a dope.
Yeah.
You don't get any points there.
No.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm watching tonight.
Let's wait. I'm gonna wait because I really I want to wash this myself clean of this movie. There was like some stuff that was just I couldn't deal with the whole like Karate Kid villain in the chimp place, because it was like that only works. That concept of a Karate Kid villain only works when the target of their animosity is like not A, an animal, and B, in a cage and helpless. The whole point of that payoff against that villain is that Daniel is like in the open when he's like confronting him. That concept falls flat in a movie like this. Like I was like, that's not what needed to happen. They needed to have something else there where it was like just general neglect. They didn't need to go hard on the caricatures of the ape keepers, except for Brian Cox.
I agree with that.
Well, but the thing is Koba ends up being a pretty major player coming.
Yeah, big time, especially in the second one.
Is that the one with the milky eye, or is that the one that was dominant? They're two different ones.
No,
the one with the milky eye was in the.
Koba was the one they did all the experiments on.
Yeah,
he's not there. Yes. He's not in the chimp house.
No.
He wasn't one.
The other one, there's two basically like bad boy apes in this movie, and one is the milky eye dude who was actually threatening and scary and menacing, and then the other one who acted tough and then got checked, right?
But I mean, the mistreatment of them is kind of Koba's motivation later on that has him have the
But let's talk about how that's redundant. They were already mistreated at the stupid lab before that.
Well, it's all of it though. I mean,
I just don't think the whole chimp rescue scene needed to happen. Like, I feel like they would have broken under the same pressure at the lab alone. They did. Bright Eyes brought out and tore up the boardroom. Like, it just felt like I was watching the same first act twice.
I don't know if this was missed though. Those apes, a lot of those apes came from that what do you call that? Encampment, whatever. Yeah, facility. Yeah. A lot of those apes came from that little facility place to where they was brought over to that lab. So that's kind of my point. They kept making that connection back and forth, making that connection of the lab and then that place where they had monkeys.
Yeah. I did like the orangutan. I did like that conversation where he walked up to him and was like, "Oh, you know how to sign?" And they talk a little bit, even though you can tell he's still kind of dumb. And I love that he just kind of checks Caesar instantly when Caesar's like, "We need to be strong together," and he's like, "Apes are stupid, though. That will never happen."
That's
like their
idea.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, So that's what makes him break out to break back in and make them smart to further his agenda. I'm telling you, Caesar looks like a villain in this movie. His actions are not noble.
Okay, I'm gonna use the term anti-hero. How about that? Anti-hero.
Yeah.
Oh, like he's emancipating those apes. You understand that what he's doing is like almost what Hitler did? Like where he's like, I'm gonna free you, but you have to work for me. It's to further what I'm doing.
What he's trying to do. Listen,
it's not good.
Listen, I get what you're saying. Look, I get what you're saying, but now you're making him a human. So you see how that movie affected you to where you're telling him, basically, you're thinking of him as Hitler. You're making him. You're humanizing him right now.
I didn't go that far with it until just a second, but like it's you can trace that template.
Oh, you're getting called out, Izzy. Here we go.
Okay, good. Bring it. I'm bulletproof.
All I'm saying is this. I think that they did a good job on how they made. It's like monkeys are being mistreated. Caesar didn't even realize there were probably even other monkeys until he got to that facility. Now he's seen all these other monkeys and how they are. He's thinking everybody's like him. Yeah. Everybody's not like him. So he had that conversation with the chimpanzee, and then he's realizing what life is really like for what he is. You know what I'm saying? For what people see he is as he's in that facility, which is why he turned his back on his owner, because he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave his people. He had a plan to get everybody out. His plan was to get everybody out.
But it wasn't to free them.
What is it going to take?
I can prove it. I can prove that his motive wasn't to free them because he gave them the serum first.
Listen, though.
Otherwise, he just would let go. He'd been like, get out of here. No, but he's going to use them. He now knows that he can make them subservient.
But his motive was he needs to take control. He finally snaps. We can all agree that he snapped. Okay? Yeah. Finally snapped. His master or dad or whatever you want to call him failed him. He snapped. He started making plans for himself. Finally using his intelligence to. He had plans to get out. Period. It was okay. Once he made the connection, he said, "You can't get out. You can't get out." Huh?
I think he's talking about Izzy.
I'm saying he cannot get out by himself as far as to get to make whatever he's trying to make. Okay. And so when he finally had a chance to get all these people together, we can't do this by ourselves. But if we were together, we're stronger. We can really make an impact so that we can get everybody out. I don't want nobody to feel how I feel being locked up in here, or how you guys feel being locked up in here.
Right. I don't think they should have been in there. I'm not going to pretend to say that. I don't think those chimps should have been anywhere in that building. They should have been re-released into captivity. Period. Full stop.
But he wasn't Hitler.
But if Caesar was a hero, he would have facilitated that without furthering his agenda.
So is it possible that he gave them the serum to make them smart enough to, I guess, I don't know, like listen to him
live on their own without him?
Because they were dumb.
No way.
Because they were dumb. Like if he had tried to escape with them, I don't think it would have worked without the serum.
He could have escaped easily by himself. He did it once
with them,
and then
though,
broke
he
back
wouldn't have been
in.
able to break all of them out, though.
Right.
What else? If they didn't have the serum, or do you think he would have been able to?
He could have done it. He could have broke them out. Think about it.
Because they weren't smart.
No, not overnight. It took a sec. But I guarantee you he wanted soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
He was commanding them on the bridge. I mean, he was
That's
like,
it. There it is.
The guerrillas do the heavy lifting with pushing the bus. He had the orangutans go down beneath, the chimps go way up top because they like all use their. I got it.
Dude, just wait till he gets going.
Raheem, you got to change your name to Kendrick. So so on the
I would, man. That's
let's talk
to Kelso for a second. Hold on. Let's address that because I would believe that Caesar had good intentions in the beginning when he looked at like John Lithgow getting attacked. Yes, you're right. I agree with you, Chelsea, fully. But hear me out. After James Franco comes back to be like, whoops, it was my mistake to put you in here, and Caesar doesn't forgive him, it's because Caesar feels spurned. It's not because Caesar feels independent. So the reaction of being spurned is a bad one. He doubles down on getting soldiers. I'm telling you. His intentions are soured at that point in the film.
I'm going to make
He starts with good intentions. He does.
Franco did not put him in there. Caesar he bit somebody. He bit a human being. He had.
I know, but it wasn't hold him. Up. I mean, yeah, and he does you're right. Franco does the thing where he tries to flex at the lady at the courthouse and be like, "You're gonna get me a court date," and she's like, "You're lucky he didn't get put down."
By the way, that actress is the actress that played Maurice. Fun fact.
Maurice, is it really?
The orangutan.
Yeah, I knew that was a woman that played that.
The woman
Maurice,
at the courthouse was the same actress that played Maurice.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I will wait until I see the other movies. You're right. I should probably bite my tongue, but I feel like the way this is heading feels like an insurrection and not a liberation because of Caesar.
I definitely disagree.
I got a point that might go towards if he's a hero or villain. Okay,
let's hear it.
In the original script, and they wrote this, and it's actually a deleted scene. Remember, Caesar has a chance to push the scientist off the helicopter. He has a chance to save him.
Yes,
I can't remember the name of him. In the original draft, Caesar is the one that pushes the helicopter off. And they fought to decide if they wanted him to do that.
Doesn't that make you wonder why that was written, though? Everything leads up to that.
No, I'm not.
That's kind of my point.
I'm adding in.
Why does that? Hold on. Why does that make him a villain, though? That doesn't make him a villain. It just makes him. It's like,
well,
all these monkeys has been tortured. He's the one that said kill his mom and kill all these other monkeys, basically. You know, that killed his mom, but kill all the other monkeys and stuff like that.
Here.
Huh?
Chelsea's right on here with this comment. This is good. This encapsulates both of our views in a way that's cohesive. Yeah. I don't approve of the way he did it because he was
anti-hero.
He was no
anti-hero. I'll see that 100%.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I think an anti-hero wants to defend people instead of use them. That's the big crux of the thing for me. He's using those apes. Like
he was broken.
At this point, it looks that way.
He was broken though. Like he's in a situation.
That's what I said. I said it was because he got spurned. I'm not denying that. He started out with good, but he got soured.
He's using him for their own good because he is the most intelligent one, and he's giving them their freedom. So he's using them to give them their own freedom.
But they're not free. They're all with him, and he makes them all bow to him at the end. You see it.
Yeah, that's
he commands subjugation in that scene. I watched it twice. I was like, man, this guy's a dictator now.
But at the same time, he's still being in his natural habitat, right? Because
yeah, that's what animals do.
They follow in packs, right? If you're the leader of the pack, they're gonna follow you. He chose to be the leader. That's all it was. I mean,
you're right.
Like, hey, follow me. We're gonna get out of this, but just follow me.
Good point.
At the same time, I'm gonna make y'all smart, just like me.
I'll watch it. I will. I'll watch all three, but probably not yet.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be on, man. It's gonna be on, Izzy. We're gonna argue.
Dude, I'm so flexible. I will like a movie if it's good, and if the second one is nothing like this one and excellent, you won't hear a peep out of me. I'll gush about it. I will.
Yeah,
but
I
I
guess
don't.
so. So do you think? So do you think his intentions were bad for the apes that he was was he using them in a bad way? You think like
Yep.
he had bad intentions for them, or he had good intentions for them? You think
He was acting out of control instead of protection. That's almost always bad. It wasn't selfless that he released them in that moment, his headspace. I swear. Like, and he would have been before that. Let's watch the second one right now. Tony wants to go.
Hey, for real talk, man. Real talk.
I love it.
I'm down. Let's watch it right now, bro.
We can do it. We can do a movie stream.
We'll stream it. Everybody get a drink and we'll get into this. I'll roll my sleeves up.
Let's do it, bro.
I think it could have been a good. I don't even think that's part of what makes the movie bad. I thought it made it interesting, but it also it sets up the adversarial nature of the apes and the humans. Right. It has to. He has to look that way. I think it's necessary for Caesar to look adversarial at the end of this film.
Yeah,
even
I
though
mean, I think that's. I kind of agree. I kind of see what you're talking about, and it kind of makes sense because I think most animals that are pack-oriented species use the other members in their pack to do what they want to do. Like if it's a pack of lions and they want to hunt an elephant, they're just using the other pack to hunt the elephant. Yeah, if another lion dies in the process, like they don't care if another lion dies in the process.
Right? He wanted the realism of animals, right? And their natural habitat on how they act. And that's exactly what Caesar did.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the fact that he didn't need to subjugate that one ape before he freed them. That was a decision.
I thought I was smart on his behalf.
So
the one that's not the milky-eyed one.
Yeah.
The first one that tried to check Caesar when he got there. He checks that guy later in the middle of the night and he didn't need to. He could have freed them without doing that. That was an act.
Yes.
That was a statement of where
Caesar never fought another ape, though. He never fought another ape. He had no experience with that. So hold on, I'm gonna get some muscle. I'm gonna get some. This dude's been tied up. I'm gonna let him out, right? He's gonna be grateful that I let him out. And now you owe me one. You owe me one.
That's usury.
So hold on.
That's not heroic or selfless.
But look,
you're reinforcing my point.
Let me go from another avenue of this, okay?
Okay, let's hear Jared.
So, it's more. It's more a story of him being like the chosen one, like almost like a biblical type neo.
You think it's messianic? Are you really?
Dude, the other two dive into that kind of mythology a lot.
I'm into it. I like Dune.
The scene in this movie that makes me realize that is when they do take him in the crib, like you mentioned, to the zoo to get his arm fixed. All the monkeys stop doing their chattering, the apes, and they stop and they watch him. It's like they sense a presence. I thought that was like the coolest foreshadowing.
Okay, thank you.
That was the coolest foreshadowing that I didn't notice the first.
They get quiet. It's like when Bigfoot's in the forest. When people talk about if they saw a Bigfoot, everything was quiet. It's that thing. Like there's something much scarier and smarter in the room.
Yeah, exactly. It was almost like he was. Yeah, and I mean, there's obvious Moses.
That does feel messianic.
Yeah, more. I would say more Moses than Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially in the third.
He's your savior, though. Oh, more Moses. Oh, right. That makes sense.
It's like it's not. He's not even trying to hide it. I thought it was pretty obvious when I
leading him to the promised land.
Right.
So I mean, that's why they just automatically follow him. And he's
wow, is this the book of Exodus? Like, is that what this trilogy is?
Right.
Basically.
Kind of.
I have thought that
basically
in the third movie.
That's actually kind of metal. If that is, I'm into it. You know what? If this movie was better, I probably would be so mad. If it didn't feel like a 90s TV show, I probably would be way more into it.
It is. I'm curious what you'll think about the second one because it's like I feel like a lot of the issues you had with this one get solved heavy in the second one. So I'm curious.
But
I love that.
Curious what you think about it.
I'll be there for it. Yeah. I don't bring my biases into the film. I won't do it.
I watched the second one right after this because I couldn't wait either.
Yeah, I knew you would. You're so impatient. Oh my gosh, you're probably just amped.
it was just instant though. Like from the first scene, it's just like, oh, I'm watching a different movie now. This is like this has taken such a huge
different experience, even like.
Yeah. It just to me it feels that way. And now we're building up too much, and you're gonna be like,
he's like, it wasn't that great. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna watch it tonight because after watching this first one, I was like, dang, this was good. And then I remember that I didn't finish the second one, so I'm definitely gonna watch it tonight, and then get loaded up for our next one.
David, did you give us your dislikes yet?
My dislikes?
Yeah,
I didn't. No, did I?
Nope.
No, I didn't. If I had to pick a dislike, I would say I do feel like the pacing was kind of slow in the beginning. And it did feel kind of like overall the movie felt very like a very generic kind of popcorn action flick. Like the other two do like a way better job of like diving deep, kind of more into the story, I think. And this one was very like kind of generic popcorn. I felt like there were like he said about the neighbor who the neighbor who was picking on the old guy in the house. Like he felt like a cartoony like bully. Like, you know what I mean? Like a 90s cartoony like
without the music,
bully.
that weird music in the background.
Right. What's up, Phil?
Yeah, that actor, I remember him from Stargate Atlantis, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The neighbor guy, and he plays the same type of guy. It's
right,
kind of his thing.
So
it's funny you say that you felt it was slow, David, because this is actually like a pretty short movie. It's under 2 hours.
It is. And it is. Yeah.
Rise is close to 2.5,
mm-hmm.
but it doesn't feel like it drags to me.
Right.
I didn't feel like it was dragging either. I felt my thing. I love character build. Like I want to understand fully the story. So when people say it's slow, to me, I feel like okay, we're character building till we get to a point to where now it picks up. And I think movies should do that. Period. Or do you even go vice versa to where the action starts and then it slows all the way down to where now we're understanding the characters, we're understanding the plot easier, and then it builds back up again, and then boom, we had this big explosion towards the end, and then it dies back down. That's what I like. That's what I personally like in the movie.
Should we just do these three like in a row?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'll vote for it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Mainly, I just want to see the improvement.
Yeah, I want to rewatch them now. Now that I'm talking about it, I want to rewatch them.
All right, let's do 2 for the next one. Let's do part 2.
At this point, for the first movie, you like digging 6 feet deep right now.
If you like this one, I think you're really gonna love the second one.
Jared has been trying to get me, like he literally is like trying to like roofie me into watching these 3 for like the last like 3 years. Like,
how do you know?
The third one, I hope I'm not hyping it up too much, man. But the third one is just like it's a masterpiece. Like that movie is a masterpiece.
I think The Dark Knight Rises is a masterpiece, and I know I will die on that hill alone.
Yeah,
you're pretty much
Yeah, I'm curious. What you think about when you think about this one.
Me and Christopher Nolan. I think that's the best one.
Since we're drawing comparisons and we're talking about Dark Knight, and we're talking about Rises. Yes, it is underrated. Thank you.
Yeah. So far, it is.
This is called Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That's Dark Knight Rises. You notice the end of them are both similar. Dark Knight Rises at the end, it says Dark Knight Rises as what's his name? Not Robin, is rising up.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about how this new Dark Knight is rising. This one, I didn't catch this until they actually said in the commentary. But the very end, when the apes all go out and they're in the redwoods, and they all get off their like 4 legs and they rise up to Caesar.
Right.
That's tight.
Was that obvious that was like why they did that in the movie? Because it's called Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Did I just not catch that the first time?
Well, I didn't catch it.
That's a good point.
Literally rise.
Yeah.
They all rise to Caesar at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, it's over.
I think it's Dark Knight ended the same way. Oh, look, Dark Knight's rising. Okay, whatever.
I thought it was a respect thing, like as an OG or a leader of a pack, it was a respect thing. So it was like everybody
as
on
non-human
the older
primates.
person, the person who's been through all these experiences, or showing them their way. And I think that was just like a tribute to him, a tribute to the future of what's going to happen. That's how I took it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll wait. I want to say something, but I'll wait till after the second one because I don't want to give anything
I
away.
don't
But
know
that's a good point you brought up. That's a good point you brought up.
I don't want no spoilers.
No, I'm not gonna say it. I won't say it.
I feel like, oh man, I feel like it was more out of like they owed him. I think I really.
Are you still on this Hitler thing?
He's determined that Caesar is Hitler.
He wants
Yeah,
them
they
to be
owed
smart
him.
enough. I promise you, he wants them to be smart enough to do two things. One, to know that he's the one that gave them the smarts they have, and two, he's the one they owe their freedom to.
Izzy, I have a good question for you. How do you feel about the Count of Monte Cristo?
Crisco?
The film?
Crisco, like the cooking oil?
The movie.
The Count of Monte Cristo? Like the film?
Yes.
I think it's in my top 20.
Which one are we talking about, though?
Okay.
The old one, and then there's
The remake, of course.
Yeah, the newest one with Jim Caviezel. He's the reason it's good. Yeah. Well, more than that, the pacing is good. The pacing in that film it was so like
Superman was in that movie, by the way. Superman was in that movie as a kid.
Oh yeah,
Henry Cavill was in that.
Yes.
I love that Jared knows that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Oh,
I wasn't a huge Henry Cavill guy. Like, I mean, you know what I do? You know who I do know is in that movie is the jailer, is the villain from The Crow, the guy that threw him in with the deep voice.
Really?
Like, yeah, I loved him. I was like, oh yeah.
Was it Guy Pearce in it too?
Yeah, Guy Pearce is his friend. It's like his best friend marries Mercedes. Why are you bringing that movie up?
Thank you. I'm glad you came back to that, Izzy. Because
why are you bringing that up?
Because the Count freed one of the he became his best mate, right? Who owed him one for the rest of his life.
Zapata.
But they had and they had a great relationship. What is the difference between that and Planet of the Apes?
Zapata already had the smarts.
We gotta walk off. We gotta walk off.
God, this guy.
I'm gonna answer you when you sit down. I have an answer. Zapata was not given intelligence by the main character for the reason of him owing him one.
They're given their ranking.
That is disgusting. Like, telling you. If I had a pet, just imagine I had a dog, and then I was like, I'm going to give you a serum to make you smart, but the point of it is that you still serve me.
So, another question. Did Caesar, at the time, give all of the chimpanzees, monkeys, and apes in the zoo the serum?
No, he didn't go back there. That's my point. No. He only liberated those ones with that intelligence because he wanted an army.
They went back there and they freed all the monkeys and stuff in the zoo. There was no serum.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it. He didn't do that. He was leading the charge to the bridge.
Who freed him from the zoo?
He freed him from the zoo too.
He didn't do that. He wasn't there for that.
They showed Buck. They showed Buck smash down the.
Yeah.
Smash down the.
It's the rabble that does that. That's not an act. Caesar wants intelligent soldiers.
He probably told him to do that though.
Hail Hydra.
I mean, totally.
They didn't go do that on their own.
Pretend for a minute that you haven't seen the other two, though. Put yourself in my shoes, please. Like,
if you haven't, I'll say it makes sense.
In that third act of that movie.
Yeah, I will say if you haven't seen the other two, I could see how you come to that conclusion. I'll say that.
Even though you don't like the people that are keeping the chimps, and you're obviously not meant to, that doesn't make Caesar a good guy in that moment. It doesn't make the only good guy in that movie is John Lithgow. Everyone else is a piece of trash. John Lithgow and the chick. That's
I think Caesar is a great guy in that movie.
Oh man. He could have got out by himself, lived alone, been intelligent, not cared about any subservient. He chose to give them intelligence so that he could use them. I am telling you.
They freed the lab monkeys. Now all the lab monkeys had the serum in them. Boom. What about that?
You think that was a selfless act on the part of Caesar in that moment?
It's
Is that what you're
always
telling me? And that
it's
undoes every
always a
bit of my point
intelligent
somehow.
act. It's always a intelligent act, right? Because the ultimate goal is to get as much monkeys together, because he said we are stronger in numbers,
Yeah.
right? So, but why, right? The ultimate goal is to be free and to not be bothered or to not be chased after or whatever the case may be.
I guess it's basically what you think the ultimate goal is. If you think the ultimate goal is that the monkeys have freedom, then he's a good guy. But I didn't think that was the goal. I think the goal was he was seeing there, like, oh, we're stronger together. And that ape's like, yeah, but we're stupid. And he's like, oh, but if you're not stupid, I can use you. Then we're really strong. I don't think that has anything to do with freedom. I think it's the opposite. I think they are indentured.
He could have used them from like for like
his own design.
He could have used them for like brute stuff, just not being intelligent. I think the intelligence came because now they're able to communicate more. You remember the story of Babel?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So everybody had one
Rise.
language.
I haven't seen
everybody had one language, right? And they was doing things together in unity, right?
Right.
God broke that up. Like, hold on. And then all of a sudden everybody started splitting up and going their own separate ways. There was no unity, there was no communication. We can't work together. So I think that bringing the unity together to come to one common goal, I think that was a beautiful point that they made.
What was that goal, though? The goal is not freedom. Again, this keeps going back to my point. The goal is not liberation. The goal was amassing an army.
But listen,
yeah, but he didn't want to go to war, though. Caesar, I don't feel like Caesar wanted to go to war.
No.
Explain to me why he chose to fight on that bridge. They could have just left. They could have jumped in the water. They could have survived so many ways. They're monkeys. They went into the jaws of that fight with relish.
Listen,
that makes
weren't they trying to get to the forest?
Yeah.
They were trying to get to the forest,
yeah,
right?
They could have dispersed. They could have got to that forest without having that fight. Please do not make me like try to explain how monkeys are nimble and smart with smarts, how they couldn't have avoided that.
Like, I am going to make an excuse.
They wanted that fight because it makes a statement at the end of that movie. It makes a statement.
I'm going to make an excuse for this. I'm going to make the same excuse that some people made about Superman grabbing that kryptonite spear.
The cops would get him.
And traveling 8 miles.
This is gonna bring up BVS.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Bringing up BVS.
Okay, you just made up 8 miles. We're talking about 8 miles.
That's my excuse.
He wants the giant ape to swim but not jump.
Good point. Well, I just think if they were smarter than a normal ape and had the strength and agility to fly through trees, they wouldn't have ran into that battle unless that was an order. And it makes a statement. That's how I felt watching it. I was like, oh, they didn't need to have that fight, but they're doing it to make a point. And then they're free.
And
like that's way different than just escaping.
I do have a fun fact though.
The whole point is that
apes cannot swim.
The movie did have to have a blockbuster. Okay, that's fair. But you know what? I can't.
Caesar does everything.
ACS, like, dude, I can't unthink that stuff. I know that I'm watching a blockbuster, and I was totally like still try to like have a huge like philosophical debate about the motives. We're good.
We need the blockbuster, man.
Even though we're fighting
so much.
That's why that kryptonite happened, because we needed a blockbuster ending.
Ooh, look at better than Nolan.
Choosing violence. Chose violence, Ashley.
Earth is spicy. You have a good chat.
She is.
Dave. You have a
they're
good
cool.
chat.
They're cool. Yeah, they're cool people. Cool group of people.
Well, you guys can follow us if you have any questions on our Twitters.
That's everyone's Twitter at.
Yeah, don't be afraid to like come at me.
Go at Izzy hard.
You know what? Wait until we get a movie that I like. Then everyone's gonna love me.
There's a link too that somebody posted way at the top to our YouTube page where we have.
Oh yeah, Jason, if you're in here, can you post that link again?
How are you guys seeing all this? I don't see none of this.
Did you click the comments on the top right instead of private chat? Go over to comments.
Ooh.
Thank you, Jason.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all over it.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
I like Earth. Earth is funny. Joe Mama, I hate both trilogy.
Joe's crazy.
Yes. Oh man, that's so funny. Stirring it.
We are gonna have to get into Rises.
So
that's a movie that
I didn't rewatch this one like recently. I mean I've watched it within the last. I did happen to watch it like a month or so ago, I think. But at the very end, do they end up in the forest at the very end of this one?
Mhm.
Yep.
They do. Okay. Okay.
Yes, they did.
So, see, that's why I don't think Caesar wanted a war. I don't think he wanted a war. I think he knew. I think he knew that they didn't have a choice, that they were going to have to fight. But I think he just wanted to go to the forest
Man, you
so
don't
they
think
could
that
do
was a
their own
stress test?
thing.
It's kind of the whole thing behind. He never wants a war. He's always
No.
trying to keep the war from happening, and that's why he gets other apes against him later on because they want a
I
war.
guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
He seems like a combative character to me, but in a way that he outthinks people that he can't fight.
And you know what?
Like he has no problem fighting the neighbor to protect Lithgow. That's violence.
If
I do
Caesar
know that,
wanted,
there was a script change when Matt Reeves came on. He changed a lot.
That makes sense. You can almost feel it.
And,
It's like,
Somebody
how
has
am
a
I supposed to
stream
think
on-
he's a hero?
these guys were originally pointing towards him, Caesar being more of a villain, and he decided he wanted to make him more relatable and a lovable character with family and all that stuff. So maybe there will be a bit of an inconsistency there for you going from this one to the next one because all of a sudden you're thinking he doesn't want war, but I don't know.
He seems like very happy to fight in this film.
if
He
Caesar
creates scenarios that end in engagement. For a
If
smart
Caesar
animal,
wanted a war, if Caesar wanted a war, he would have killed humans, and he did not.
no.
Kill
They rampaged through the town in broad daylight. He could have sprung the trap in the middle of the night, and they could have just slipped into the forest. That's a decision, dude.
Whoa,
It's a
Chris.
decision.
You do realize that they did all. They did
with
they was
their
doing
release,
all of
and then
these
they
things.
Yo, Chris
Once they broke
Perillo.
out, once they broke out,
Huh?
and all that stuff happened back
Thanks
at
for
the
the
other
host, man.
facility,
Appreciate
and
it.
he realized that he basically killed a human, right? He killed that kid. He realized that everything became like this. All right, we gotta get moving, y'all. We gotta do this now. So I don't think killing that human was part of the plan. It happened.
It might not have been a writing
situation.
It might not have been intentional writing wise, but it's how it felt when I watched it. I was like, why didn't they just do this at night so they didn't have to fight anybody unless they wanted to fight?
Chris Perillo just rated
They
my
was
channel
literally
with
trying to
38
escape
people.
at night.
Thank
Oh,
you,
nice.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Holy crap. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
What is that?
that's a solid dude.
Awesome.
I think Joe Mama makes a really good point here. Caesar literally couldn't see the forest for the trees. He didn't realize until it was too late that freedom meant sacrifice. And I think that's kind of Dave's point. But I still think if that was true, he would have done it at night because he was smart enough to know, since he's escaped once at night already. We already know.
Yeah, but
We already
he has
know.
a whole group of people though. He has a whole group of everybody to try to get everybody together and then escape at night, knowing that everybody already had escaped at a certain time. And I just think I don't know. I think that it was.
I think you just want to like Caesar, man.
I don't think I
Caesar.
never got the feeling that Caesar
I love Caesar.
intentionally was looking for a fight. I never got that. I feel like he was ready for one. I feel like he saw the reality of it, like it's gonna happen. But I don't feel like he was ever like looking for one.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about that possible ending there? I didn't get to ask you. Where they originally had Caesar pushing him off the bridge, and then but in the movie,
I think it's much more in keeping with the third act of the film.
In the version we saw,
If he had done it,
and Kobe, he pretty much allowed Kobe to do it. Like he knew Kobe wanted to, so
he was complicit.
Yeah,
because Kobe is the one that did a lot of
silence.
He got a lot of experiments
Inaction.
at that facility, so it was a lot of experiments happened to Kobe.
He had the revenge motive.
Yes, exactly. So he gave him that.
Yeah.
So that right, if that ain't love, I don't know what it is.
Enabling revenge, that's love.
Love towards his monkey friend.
I want to say.
I mean, he still has animal instincts, man. I mean, they attack your pack. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Torture.
It's
true. Torture, man.
He pointed to David.
Yeah, I was like, I'm mirrored. Yeah, that's true. That part. Yeah. Yeah. Man, I don't know, man. I guess you're right. They probably didn't write it that way, but as of me, just the way my mind works, I'm like, I just instantly was like, if he's smart enough to have already broken out at night because he knows he doesn't want to get caught and avoid being caught, then the fact that he broke them out during the day was also intentional. That's all I'm saying. And the only intention of that is conflict. To make a statement that I'm freeing these apes, they are smart, they work for me, and we can beat you. What other statement is there to make unless if they slipped out at night and they just walked in and nobody was there and they're like, what? And they're all just intelligent and in the woods, that totally could have happened and nobody would have gotten the idea that
I don't think that they could have just slipped out without any consequences. I mean, they broke out of a
If anything, since humans raised them in a combative and controlled way, that's a good comment. That's a good comment because he saw the neighbors fighting and stuff with the dad. Yeah. That's good, Earth. That is,
That's a whole other 2 hours we could talk.
Yeah,
about.
Right.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty good though.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Did we hate the fact that there was an ape called Cornelia?
Because of Cornelius?
Oh, obviously, right? Wow, that's
right.
Yeah, pretty ham-fisted. I hated it. I thought it was corny. Like
I didn't mind it.
Corny.
Are we picking on names now?
I'm picking on Easter eggs that are completely unnecessary.
Well, that actually kind of leads into something too. So
I hope so.
Wait and see.
Other than the kid being named Cornelius, right?
Can we like do one of these about Batman versus Superman?
So you can be mad.
I'm down.
So
he wants to see the chat rate. He wants to see the chat rage at it, man.
Freak on that one.
These guys will snap on you, man. Everyone in here is a big Zach.
I'll come with fire. Let them snap.
Raheem is jealous of your hate you're getting, is he?
I am.
I ain't getting that much hate. There's attempted corrections happening, which is fun.
Izzy is making sound logic conversation.
I understand.
I'm just telling you how I felt when I watched it. That's all I'm saying. It just felt like. Oh, here we go, Chelsea. It's time.
No, he did not like it, Joe. Raheem, Blackzilla did not like it.
No, I liked the beginning of BVS, and then after that, hell no. We didn't talk about that right now.
Podcast. Go watch our podcast.
That's a whole.
See why? Yeah, go watch our podcast.
I'll have to prep you guys a day or two ahead.
Exactly what I dislike about BVS. I'll talk about it.
I'm gonna make it. When we do that, I'm gonna make it the biggest.
Is the best Batman ever.
But when we do that, I'm gonna make it the biggest clickbait. I'm gonna make it the biggest clickbait title ever. Discussing BVS with Zach's biggest hater or something, just so 50 people come in the chat.
Do it. That's funny. Good. You say Zach biggest hater.
I know you're not a Zach hater. He's not a Zach hater.
I'm not a Zach hater. I hate that movie. I hate that movie.
Zach's second best film.
I hate that. I hate that movie. It's not. That's not his second best film. What?
Yeah.
What?
Behind Watchmen.
Behind what?
Behind Watchmen.
Okay. Watchmen is dope. Watchmen is dope.
Oh, you give me that one, huh?
Watchmen is dope. Watchmen is one of my all-time favorite films that I say, wow, from start to finish, right? And then Zach's other one is
I will not call Batman Hitler. I do not just throw that name around. That's not a meme to me. Do not misunderstand me.
Take that out of your mouth. But Zach's other one that I thought it was beautifully done, of course.
Yeah, ACS is right. I'll probably love it.
Nobody.
Man of Steel. I thought that was beautifully done as a superhero movie. Really showed the powers of Superman, his struggles, what he went through as a kid, of really trying to hold back his powers and then having a father figure. I just thought it was really awesome. And then the fighting scenes. It shows how fast this dude really is and how hard it is to keep up with what he's doing when he's flying over here, flying over there. Anyways, awesomely done. I love Man of Steel. That's my second one. And then my third one is the latest, which is the 4-hour Justice League.
I agree with Unfiltered. I do think that's the greatest superhero trilogy. I do. That's full hard agree right there. I don't think there's a better one.
I would agree with that.
Super dope. Super dope. But Batman versus Superman? Nope.
Unreal. You were unreal, dude. I don't understand it.
I know.
He wants all the hate. He wants.
I remember the first time I watched it being like, "Is this the?" Jared will validate this. I sent a message in his old channel that was like, "Is this the best superhero film ever made?" And he was like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "No, I don't think I think it's true." Like I was like, "BVS is the best superhero film ever made." It might be like it might be the pinnacle of superhero film.
Man,
but I gotta take out sometime. Man, ain't that the truth?
All right, so okay,
let's keep going on Apes. Let's go.
My bad.
All right, so when's the next time you guys? I guess we could discuss the next time we want to do it, like either next Monday or the Monday after. I can do it either. I stream Monday through Friday anyway, so I mean,
I'm starting to do that too.
I'm itching to get this trilogy done.
So am I. I really want to watch the second one now.
The chat's forcing the issue now, which is fun. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that it becomes a discourse then,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do it. Let's do the second one.
You want to do it next Monday?
Monday.
Should we?
I don't have nothing going on Mondays.
I feel like we should rate maybe 1 out of 10 what we thought of this movie.
Yeah, let's do that.
Jared?
It's funny, Izzy. I am totally.
Yeah, we'll do it Monday.
I'm totally fine with you not liking this movie. I actually kind of had an idea you wouldn't. I don't know if you noticed, but I kept texting you like, "Oh man, Dawn is so cool," because I was watching it.
I did. It was very unsubtle. I got it. Yeah.
But man, if you come in and hating on Dawn, I'm not going to be like, "Whoa," but I'm not going to be as laid back. I don't think about you not liking it. I'll be surprised.
I'll be shocked if you don't like Dawn. I will too. I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
That both of those say a lot. You guys know me, or at least Dave's starting to get to know me better.
Yeah.
Jared knows me really well. Yeah.
Although
the more I'm thinking about this movie, I can kind of understand why it does have a really this one definitely has out of the three, this one's got the most kind of goofy feel to it.
It feels like
it was corny.
Yeah, I can see why you don't like it.
Hey, stop talking about it, man. Cause y'all go.
Hey, I'm saying it does. It does. Wait till you.
This movie's corny.
This one, even compared to the next one, is it is night and day difference. It's night and day.
This one was made for a summer blockbuster, and those other ones felt like it was somebody wanting to just tell
the layers and the relationships and the themes in the other two are so deep in the other two. It's crazy.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
8.
Okay. Izzy?
Only because the black man died.
Otherwise, it was a 9. Otherwise, it was 10. Raheem?
What was that?
I'd give it a 4.
4?
Woo!
Dang.
Man, that's
I won't watch it again.
Ooh.
I'll give it a 6. I'll say a 6.
Wow. Dave, are we drifting apart?
Yeah, we're on the 2-hour mark, so we'll start wrapping it up. But next Monday, 8 o'clock, we'll be back discussing Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I'm excited for that one. I'm hyped to watch it now. So as we're closing out, Jarrett, go ahead. Tell them where they can find you.
At BrainCloud10 Twitter.
On Twitter.
My Twitter account.
Yes, sir.
Give me some followers. And then also I have a YouTube page YouTube channel called The Rain Foundation. It's my name, Ray, last name Ray, RAYNE Foundation. Got some songs in there and a bunch of Pokemon Go and a bunch of stuff.
Jared has an angelic voice, by the way. He can sing really good.
He can sing. Jared can sing. All right, Raheem, where can they find you on Twitter?
Blackzilla. You see it. It's easy.
Raheem's a Twitter expert, if you can't tell. He's a Twitter expert.
I'm definitely terrible at Twitter.
Yeah.
I actually just started Twitter like today.
Like right before we made the podcast. We still were before we went live.
Both
Yeah.
did.
I am more so a Instagram, Facebook guy, you know, but I use my normal name, Raheem Jones. If you're trying to find, or actually no, I hit that back. Raheem Jones is on Facebook, or RU317 is my Instagram, and you see me, my family, my life, and what I do, you know, stuff like that. And then I also have my business page, which is 18 Granite, my business stuff. You probably don't want to be into that, but
what if they need granite then?
Hey man, if they need them granite countertops, you know,
And they're in California.
I'm seeing people are from like Ohio. I'm not going to Ohio to install.
No, there's a lot of people in here in Cali. There's a lot of people in the chat from Cali.
They're gonna see you.
You're in Cali.
They're gonna see you.
18 Granites. Look for that, but it's spelled. The team is spelled TEEM, not TEAM. So I just want to correct that. Black folks, we do things differently.
Teaming.
RU317 is my normal lifestyle. It's an open Instagram. You can look at that and you can see how crazy I really am in life. So, anyways, this has been fun, y'all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, Izzy, where can they find you?
You can find me at Tundra Bear on Twitter, and on Twitch, Glimmerwolf, the word glimmer, and then WULF. That's me. I do some streaming. I play Destiny. I'm fairly scary at that game, but I've also started streaming Azure Lane lately, which is like a bunch of anime girls that shoot each other. So I don't know, it's fun. Pop on by, Glimmerwolf, Tundra Bear, pick a fight with me in the chat, whatever. I'm into it. So thanks for having me. Oh, you said hell yeah about Azure
That
Lane?
was pretty cool, Izzy.
Please be saying hell yeah about Azure Lane, because I'm like a recent convert and it's really good.
All right, yeah, you guys know where you can find me on Twitter at OhioDave, twitch.tv/OhioDave. And yeah, this is us, man. This is Four Takes. This is what we do, man. We have drinks and we talk about movies.
You better treat your mom nice. I will.
Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to doing it again next week. So we will catch you guys next time. All right, you guys take it easy.
Bye, y'all.